Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
This guy.
Well, there you go. There you go. How's it going? There's Chloe down there doing her thing. Alright, well, good to see everybody tonight. Hello there to Brenda, Dawn, Ivan, Susan, Danny, Daphne, Rhonda, Tracy, Danielle, Saltina, Wise Child, Alley Cake, N Bell, Axion, Super Soda, Linda Howell, as in Linda Moulden Howe of the Cattle Mutilations and Crop Circles, Thomas Jordan, Justin Oki, or Justin, I don't know if that's Justin Oki. I don't know how to say that one. And Richard Delaney, and Ali Kohler, and Frazzled Cat, and Terry, Kit, etc. All right. Well, thank you all for coming tonight. I'm hoping tonight's a little bit better than last night. It was absolutely abysmal, so hopefully we can get the ship back on the track tonight. All right. Yeah, so hopefully most of you saw the video today. I thought that I was really disappointed in Law and Crime. Like, I like Law and Crime Network. I think they have a lot of great content with their streaming of crime and, you know, stories here and there, but I don't know, you know, sometimes it makes you wonder what all the, you know, like, the only reason that all of you that were watching was a little disappointed is because you saw the reality from somebody else. But what about the times when there isn't another side? Do you just sort of believe what's said? I mean, that's one of the things too. I'm wondering now, it kind of makes you wonder what the reality of content is. When you don't have another side to have information, you're just listening going, wow, that makes sense, ooh, ooh, ooh. And that's why a lot of people believe, like the clown and the guy from Scotland and all their stupid ass theories that they put out there on a daily basis. They believe it because they're not listening to anything else, right? I think the videos that I've made on this case there's really, I mean, it's either the most likely thing to happen or the reality. There isn't like, well, I don't know, that's just a guess too, Gray. It's, hey, thanks, Matt is a cut snake, and Terry, and Dawn, thank you. Yeah, so I mean, I have to keep making videos on that case because I don't want the, you know, the crazy people running the asylum or whatever the hell it is. Whatever the phrase is, my brain doesn't remember right now. Thanks, Danielle. yeah, consider becoming a channel member or subscribing if you want. I gotta turn down this, and thanks again, Don and Danielle there. I'm gonna turn down the temperature over here. It's like 1,000 degrees. Like, you get your power back and you're like, turn the temperature up to 1,000,000 degrees because you're like trying to make up for lost time, and you end up cooking yourself. I was a little bit surprised how comfortable I was when it was 40 something in the house. I slept okay and everything. So now I understand when people say, oh yeah, I keep my house at 55. I always thought that sounded nuts, but 55 would have been like being in a sauna during that power outage. I think our room got down to 30, might have been like 39 or 40 that one night. That was crazy. Yeah, well, what's weird about it, it makes me nervous that, like, I mean, obviously when you're showing trials, everybody, that's the trial's the trial. There isn't any. But these side stories that you see out there a lot of times, and those ones that you go, ooh, wow, ooh, 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 wow. A lot of times when I see those, I go, oh, Jesus, oh, God, here we go. But I don't know. I think that was a pretty good point I just made a minute ago. How do you really know what you're watching is real? Just like the news, right? When you watch CNN, you're expecting CNN to tell you the truth, but 90% of the time they're not. So it's kind of strange. It's all just a spin of whatever the hell they want. Now in this case here, it seems like it was really more just laziness, like, oh, ooh, there's some audio. There's some audio, a dog barking, and the dog barking to me sounded like a whale sonar sound. Okay, I don't even know what it is. I can't tell. That's so much less reliable than here is a video that literally shows exactly what the probable cause document says, and not only that, it allows us as people to say, look at this. We now know that the car parks at around 4:08, not 4 o'clock. And just like law enforcement knows all this, but they just say 4 to 4:25 just as a range, right? They do that all the time in tons of cases. They just give you a range. They don't tell you the exact same thing. So, because they know it sped away at 4:20, so even then, why would they say 4:25, right? The car is already gone at that point. Yeah, so the video allows you to go, okay, it's 4:08, and the car speeds away at 4:20. A minute, 2 minutes going in, a minute, 2 minutes going out. You could subtract. It's between 8 and 9 minutes is the amount of time that Brian Koberger was in that house. Why do you say it's Brian Koberger, Gray, you bastard? Well, I say it's Brian Koberger because his freaking knife sheath was in there with his DNA on it, matching the car that was driving around without a front license plate, seen at A&W. All right? All right, excellent. I can answer every question that the trolls have, except one that doesn't have an answer. Like literally ones that are just gray. I can't even come up with an example. You come up with one. Hey, thanks, N-Bell, for gifting a membership, and welcome, Earth Angel, and thank you very much, Wise Child. And yes, if you're out there and you want to help support my channel, it allows me to keep doing these shows, and it also, we give away a ton of money of the income from my channel. Last year we gave over 55,000, 56 maybe, 57 right there on the screen. 57,000 from my income directly to charity and various, like we have a scholarship fund now and a DNA fund. And by the way, I did hear from Misty, and she's on to a trail. In the Medina County Doe case, she's on a trail. And when she's on a trail, that's good news. So I'm excited for that one. We'll have another solve, all right? And you guys I'll say it again. You are all the sole source of the income on the channel. All right. So that's why we do on a nightly basis. People send in super chats, etc., 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 to allow me to keep doing all this and allow us to make a huge difference in the true crime world. When we have nights like last night, I can't do those kind of things. All right. So if you're out there and you can afford to help out, I don't want anybody to not be able to buy food or it affects their life in any way, shape, or form whatsoever. And also, if you want to send your money directly to a charity, go ahead and do so. If you're sending it to me, it helps support my channel. And I, in a bulk fashion, donate a ton of it at the end of the month. All right. That's all I can say. I don't have any other way to sell the fact that I need your guys' support on a nightly basis. All right. And we've been doing that for 4 years. Just want to keep it going. First on a troll. Why do you think that the last time BK was seen in the video, did he speed away? I think he sped away because he was nervous. There was a lot of sound going on in the house. Dogs barking. Things went awry. He wasn't comfortable anymore, and he got the hell out of there. That's exactly why. And he was driving away at a high rate of speed at 420. And then something I overlook a lot is that it says he's then seen heading south on Willanta Drive on video 2. Now that could also be from the 1112 King Road camera, because you can maybe see the road up there. Or it could be on a number of various cameras that might be up in that area as well. Thank you, Frazzled Cat. You can't see the goal amounts up here at the top. Yeah, I don't know how to make it any bigger than that. Yeah, we're at, I don't know, 20% currently. All right, so I want to do there's been 6 people killed in San Bernardino County, and I want to do that one first, and then we'll get back to the Koberger thing, but I think you'll find this one pretty interesting too. I was able to find the exact location, the way I do it, of where the vehicle was. So hold on. And there's 2 vehicles, and there's 6 people that were killed and just riddled with bullets, the vehicle. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Here, let's take a look at some of this right here. I don't know, Danielle. Jesus, what a... homicide investigation. Lessing Avenue and Shadow Mountain Road. Oh, okay, I guess it does say right. Let me see if I got that right then. I never even read that. I went and found a helicopter hovering around, and I think this is it right here. Let's go over out to here and see if that makes sense. Is there a street view there? Oh, yeah. Does it have a name? No. So, anyways, I have the right spot because I have photographs of the helicopter. They were doing loops around here. It matches exactly the description. So, let's see. It said, pending positive identification, next of kin notification. On Tuesday, January 23rd, so yesterday, at approximately 8:16 p.m., deputies responded to Lessing Avenue and Shadow Mountain Road, a remote desert area in El Mirage, for a well check. Upon arrival, deputies located multiple deceased individuals. Detectives with the Sheriff's Specialized Investigation Division Homicide Detail responded and are conducting the investigation. 6 individuals have been confirmed deceased. No arrests have been made. The investigation is continuing, and additional information will be released when available. All right, so that was just a press release that they put out. No, it's not a house. According to a news release from San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, deputies responded at 8:16 to a remote area of the Mojave Desert near the unincorporated community of El Mirage for a wellness check. So let's see where El Mirage. Yeah, so this is El Mirage. It's nowhere near El Mirage here. It's like 10 miles away. It's not even close. Let's see, let me get up here. Deputies arriving at the scene located 50 miles northeast of Los Angeles initially recovered 5 bodies reported during the news conference. Mirage Rodriguez, a spokesperson for the sheriff's department, said a 6th body was located in the same area on Wednesday morning. Yeah, super chats and stickers are the same. There's no difference there. But as you can see, my public service announcement again fell on deaf ears. Details about the victims' identities, ages, and genders were not immediately available. KNBC TV reported. Hey, thanks, Kathy Chapin. The circumstances leading up to the shooting and when they occurred remained unclear, according to the television station. It's going to be heartbreaking no matter what in this situation. Let me go to this next one here. This one had a ton of pictures. I have all these pictures in here. So let's read it from here. 6 people were found dead near a bullet-riddled SUV in a remote area of San Bernardino County on Tuesday night, January 23rd. San Bernardino County Fire Department paramedics were dispatched to a reported shooting at 8:38 p.m. at the request of Sheriff's Department, but the request was canceled before they arrived. The Sheriff's Department said deputies were sent to an area off Highway 395 outside of the community of El Mirage for a wellness check around 8:15 and found 5 bodies. The 6th was found Wednesday morning, Sheriff spokesman Mara Rodriguez said. The department had not announced Wednesday whether the victim had been shot, but said it's investigating the situation as a homicide. The victims: 2 vehicles, a blue Chevrolet Blazer SUV with shattered window and bullet holes, and a white SUV were parked at the crime scene. The area was well-groomed dirt roads and sagebrush. The area has well-groomed dirt roads and sagebrush. I don't see that. 3 to 6 feet high amid rocks and dirt. Television helicopter footage showed yellow evidence markers near an intersection of road. I mean, so let me show you all these photographs in here. I mean, look at this damn thing. I mean, that was like an automatic weapon or something. It's crazy. Yeah, and this is what it looks like from above. And so, well, I guess we can take another look at where this might be, but there's a helicopter flying right there. And that's the vehicle parked right there on the ground. See that? And there's actually blood on the ground right there. And there it is again. Now, I think I have the right spot. So take a look at the way this looks in this picture here. Okay? And then based on where I found a helicopter flying around, I think it's right here. And if you look at just that general layout of the ground there, the helicopters were flying right around. Let me just show you. So there it is. See that? This one time there was a circle going around there. And then another time, it's the same damn thing, I believe. Let me see. Let's make sure. Yeah. So that spot right there is the same. It's just blurry. But look at the that road. That thing right there is right there, and then right here. And if you look, it's pretty much right in the center of these circles. So I would think that that would be the spot. Now, if we zoom in, take a look at that right there, and take a look at this, and let's take a look. Let me look at Google Earth here. Hey, thank you so much, Danielle. See, look at that. And let me get a different angle so you can really sort of appreciate. I think it's more like this. I think it's a different angle actually. I think it's like this. I have to figure it out again. I had it figured out, and then I think, oh, there you go, like this. Here we go. So I think this is it right here, like that. And I think you can see, if I turn it like about like that, you see how that's like exactly the same, basically? How it curves right there, and even the bushes. See, you look at this spot right here, you go, bing, these ones are ding, 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 ding. And now that sound effect I just made, you'll see that on another channel. They can't even make their own sound effects when they're talking. And then you'll see, look at right here, that bush, see that one? And that bush? And then that one and that one, see? And then over here, you got this one, and then boom, boom. I mean, to me, it's absolutely the right spot. So that means that the vehicle is parked basically right here in the image. And it matches where the helicopters were flying around. Now, when they say well-groomed neighborhood, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. And as a matter of fact, none of the photographs look like that either. Let's go back up to here. Oh, let's start here again. And click around. That's at night. I mean, look, there's blood right there on the ground. I mean, this is a massacre here. And apparently there's people in this vehicle right now as we're looking at it. They made sure not to show clips that you could make out anything. Hey, thanks, Don G. I wonder if that lady's upset right there. She kind of looks, or... And this is the blue one that's in the woods. You know, not the woods, the brush. I don't know where that one is. So it might be somebody that tried to get away and was chased down and then shot. Definitely some stuff going on over here. I don't know what that is. Man, if that was a clearer photograph, I could probably tell you where that was, too. If there was a mountain range, but I can't do it. Okay, so I'm almost absolutely, I feel like 99.999% sure that this is the spot right here. And let's go over to that highway they were referring to is over here. So let's see if you can even see down. I mean, that's the road right there. So you would turn down this road right here and head way out there. And that's what it looks like. It's straight down that road though. See, let's see if I go. And there it is. Kind of reminded me of the McStay case. I don't know if it was the same desert. Let me see what happens here. Hold on a second. McStay. So if I turn that on, it's right over. It's down in this area, right there. So yeah, I guess the same desert, but. There you go. Okay, so let's play the press conference here. I fixed the audio and put a little filter on it. The crime scene photograph, or filter, I guess.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Mara Rodriguez. It's MARA RODRIGUEZ. I'm the Public Information Officer for the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. So let me start off by letting you know that all information that I'm going to give you right now is preliminary. As you can imagine, the investigation is going to continue for several hours. So this information is subject to change once the investigation is complete. So at 8:16 p.m. last night, January 23rd.
What the hell happened there?
As you can imagine, the investigation
There's 2 SUVs.
is going to continue for several hours. So this information is subject to change once the investigation is complete. So at 8:16 p.m. last night, January 23rd,
Why is it cutting out right there? Hold on, let me look.
desert area.
That's just for the video.
And for that reason, CHP Aviation Division, a Mirage. This is a very remote desert area, and for that reason, CHP Aviation Division accompanied us to the call and were able to help us in locating the scene and the decedents. Upon arriving, we located multiple decedents at the scene, and investigators with our Specialized Investigation Division responded to assume the investigation. As the investigation continued, early this morning, a 6th decedent was located at the scene, so we have a total of 6 at this point. We've confirmed that, we have not confirmed the sex or the age of any of the decedents at this point. So that information will come out as we continue the investigation, as well as the cause and manner of death. So I'm not able to confirm that at this time. So just so you know, the process will look something like this. Obviously, we've got investigators out there. The crime scene will be considered for all evidence. We'll collect that. Our coroner's investigators will do their part in the investigation as far as the decedents are concerned. And then as soon as we have that information, we'll make sure that we put that out to you. You can look for a press release to accompany this. It will most likely be later this evening or tomorrow sometime. Unfortunately, I don't have an exact estimate on that for you. So I can take a couple of questions. Go ahead.
There's only one crime scene and it's that remote desert area. Is that the only place you're looking at right now?
As of right now, that is the only location that we are looking at.
And with the 6th person being found, can you describe the circumstances of that? Was this person, the body, further away in the desert, not together with the other 5?
I do not have that information right now. I don't know.
Mark, you contacted yesterday for me a phone call. Do you know anything more about that phone call? Why did you go there?
Yeah, we're not releasing that information at this time.
And if you're around the vehicles there, because it looked like there were 2 vehicles involved. One of them had what it looked like bullet holes in the window.
Okay.
Do you think this was shooting?
I don't know. That
That's not
information will come as they further investigate. We haven't been given that information yet for release.
What is the timetable here moving forward? When will the coroner arrive? How long do you expect the bodies to remain on scene?
It'll be several hours still before we're ready for anybody to be removed from the scene. The coroner investigators will be called upon once they're ready for that. So as you can imagine, with 6 decedents at the scene, it's going to take quite a bit of time for them to gather all of that information.
So you got a call, 8:16. The understanding is literally somebody seeing this van and asking for it to be checked out. Can you describe how that came in?
Yeah, again, right now we're not releasing that information as they're still processing the scene and trying to take in all of the evidence out there, but that'll be information that hopefully we'll be able to share with you at a later date.
Area.
Correct.
Is it possible that that van and the bodies had been there hours prior to that?
Yeah, we don't know at this point yet.
Prior to that, we were the 5 victims.
Right.
Shot to death. That's not what we're saying.
I bet one of them tried to run away and got shot. They were found somewhere in the brush.
Yeah, we have not confirmed any cause or manner of death
Well, they were
or
shot.
any gunshot wounds or anything other than.
Well, right, but they have been.
that.
They were shot.
Is
So.
this area known for?
See, don't you find that kind of stuff ridiculous? Like right there, saying stuff like, well, we haven't confirmed that they were shot. When you see these vehicles with 50 million bullet holes in them with, obviously shells all over the ground. That's why there's yellow markers there. Couldn't they just said it appears that they've all been killed with bullets? It's just, I can't stand it, man. They think we're just children. That doesn't help anybody. It's not something only the killer would know. You basically, the whole world knows that they were gunned down with bullets, all right? Hey, thanks, Earth Angel.
This type of activity, have you responded to that remote area before for something similar?
Not to my knowledge, no.
We've seen the sheriff's helicopter drive around this morning. Is that to collect evidence? Is that to survey the field? Or
Typically, all of those things, a lot of times what will happen is they will take an investigator up into the helicopter so that they can do aerial photographs, that sort of thing, and get a lay for the land. So it's all part of the investigation. Anything else?
Can you speak on behalf of the Sheriff's Department, the severity of what you're dealing with here? Clearly 6 lives. I mean, for somebody, this is heartbroken families that are going to be getting this news.
Absolutely. I mean, it's going to be heartbreaking no matter what the situation is, what they discover out there as far as the circumstances surrounding it.
I mean, just looking at it, it's likely something like drugs or something, right? It looks like, multiple people gunned down with automatic weapons, something like that.
So our investigators will continue to do their best to wrap this up quickly and get all the information possible to bring justice to those folks out there.
And it was mentioned that this is a homicide investigation. Can you speak to the fact that when most recently you had 6 victims of a homicide in the county?
To be honest with you, I can't recall a time. I mean, if that's been the case, it has been years. Yeah. I'm sorry? I do not know. No.
Who made the call? Like, that's a so rural area. While they did it,
Yeah, that's okay. No worries. All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out. We appreciate it. I understand there's not a lot of information yet, but we'll be sure to get that out to you as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I bet you're going to hustle to get that out. Right. Yeah, so the address that they gave was right here. Shadow Mountain and Lessing Avenue. So this is Lessing and Shadow. But that's just because that's where media was able to go here, and then they could drive up a little bit to about right in this area and then film. Because that spot there, that's exactly what it looks like. It doesn't have a paved road like that in the shot. And, even the bushes don't look the same. So, so if you were just going to go by what they told you, you wouldn't have the right spot. It's right here. And the photograph we were looking at was like that. So I guess when you look at it, an image like this, the killers maybe came down something like this and drove up, or just went right off of Highway 335 or something like that? 395? I don't remember. Let's see, road. Yeah, 395. Yeah, so you go all the way up 395 and just take a left on, I don't know what this road here probably has a name, but it's not listed. So even when you zoom in, this one doesn't have a name, but if you type it in and you happen to know the name, then Shadow Mountain Road shows. Now it shows up there. Let's see if it. Okay, there's Wrigley Road, and that's not a road name. It's called Helicopter. So this is just a dirt road that apparently doesn't have a name. It'd be cool if there was street view out here, but there usually isn't. I was hoping maybe this would have it, but even that doesn't even have it. Yeah, so that's what it looks like out there. I mean, it's just desert. Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay, well, I don't have anything else to offer. I don't have there's nothing to even speculate on. All we know now is that there's 6 people that were all shot. I mean, let's go through the pictures again. I mean, look at these bullets right here. And looks like a body was moved, maybe. Like they bled out there and then dragged somewhere. This could also be, like law enforcement moved the body away or something. Like they processed them first. And here is where that vehicle is. And here's that same shot from a minute ago. You can see something was dragged away from that blood pool there. And there's another huge pool of blood right there and right there. So it's like people tried to get away and then were shot. And that looks like the blue SUV. I think that's the same. It looks like that same one there. I don't know. See, there's a bullet hole in the window there. Couldn't be more obvious. All right, well, that's it. We'll have to wait till we get more information to speculate any further. But, you know, when you get guns like that, it always feels like it's going to be a some drug-related, gang-related cartel, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. Total nightmare. All right, so what do I got to do? You guys have to dance a jig in here to get the show rolling on the super chat, so we can get to the nightly goal. Do I have to stand up and dance a jig, or do a somersault, or sing, or I mean, it's crazy, man. It's so difficult these days. Unbelievable. Used to just be so simple in here. Just do a show. We're always doing shows for 3 hours, and now it's just boom. Crash and burn right out of the gate. Can't do it. The Broken Scout can't do it. Wild though. Wild, wild, wild. So as we did the video today, and now we're going to talk about that. We got the murder of 6 people, and now we don't have any idea, Jacqueline. I just read, they just had the press conference, and that's it. No thanks. No thanks. I don't want to watch that at all. I like to see, when I do cases, I like to think for myself. All right? You see a lot of people copy my work, but you'll never see me copy anybody else ever. Okay? Now people go, oh, you do the overlay. Everybody does overlays of cars. We did it in this case from the beginning, and then did it again at another time, and another time, and another time, and another time. Everybody does that kind of stuff. What they didn't do was overlays like I did in the Kylie Rodney case. That is something that nobody does. Nobody even thought of doing, where I made it, you could see the nighttime lights through the daylight, and you could see where the car went in the water. And then everybody goes, ooh, look what I thought of. And they quickly went out and tried to make the video themselves. And man, nothing more frustrating. Thank you, N. Bell and the Broken Scout. Not even $2. And Lisa Wilkerson. Thank you. I don't know what you mean by the Kansas 3. You mean the 3 people in behind the house? Why do you call it the Kansas 3? Man, it's not that. That's a kind of a weird one. I mean, we talked about it the other night on the show for a while. Thanks for everything you do, Gray, Lisa Wilkerson said. And Bell said, wrecked. Yeah. Yeah, so if you don't remember, you guys, look, want to hear something crazy? Is there anybody out here? Put a 1 if you're not really familiar with the Kylie Rodney case. If you're not familiar with it. See, and here's another thing that's crazy. The media, to this day, Law and Crime, all of them, Court TV, etc. They never showed this, and it absolutely answered the case. I mean, it's crazy. Here, let me just show you this thing. It's wild. Yeah, look at that.
Why should you click below to find out if your home qualifies for solar? Great question.
Qualify for
Because
solar? Okay. Reality of true crime. If Riley Rodney's car went into the water and, in fact, look at seems to... See, watch how crazy this is. So there was a fire camera out in the woods, and people had this, and they didn't know what to make of it or what to do with it. They were just like, wow, that's kind of cool. Look at it. And as soon as I saw it, I realized that it was absolutely important for the case. And so what I did was, there was nighttime video at 12, like around 12:20 in the morning. That's what you're looking at right here. Okay, but I took a daylight shot because the camera didn't move. So I took a daylight still frame and put it over the top of the nighttime video so that you could see where the lights of the vehicle actually went. And watch how crazy this is. This is nuts. So look at you can see the lights. Those are lights of vehicles at night, but I made it so you could see it. I'm not sure why I'm yelling. I don't need to be yelling. So right now I'm showing you what the video actually looked like. That's what the video looked like, right? But you take the daylight version, and I fade it back in here in a second. Watch this. Yeah, but we don't sell other people's channels in here. If they mention my name, sure, but if they don't, forget it. All right, let's see. So just watch for it in a second here. I switch it back over to daylight. And so here it is. Here it is, watch. And her car was found in the water. And everybody thought somebody dumped her car in the water, right? And see this little point right here in the video? Let me make it full screen. See this point right here in the video? Her car was found right over here in the water. Right off the edge there. And everybody thought, oh man, somebody, went there a day later, or they did this and that and the other thing. Now watch this video though, it's nuts. So I'm just gonna move it forward through time. All right, these are just cars driving around at night. You couldn't see where this was in the night video, but when you overlay the daylight over the top of it, you can then see where the lights are going. So some of these cars there's like roads that go to camping areas down here, and that's all interesting. And her phone quit pinging, I believe, at 12:32 or 3, something like that, if I remember right. So look at the time up there. It's 12:31. And I think this might be it right here. This vehicle. Watch this. Watch how crazy this is. Here it comes. And it didn't turn like the rest of them did. Yeah, that's right. You have to take a right, and then she turned left. And look at this. Went right off a bank. And watch what this light does too. Watch this. It's in the water right now. And she's in that car, and she couldn't get out. Now watch how the light dims slowly as the vehicle sinks. Watch this. And there's other vehicles driving around. They didn't see her. Look how there's not a soul around when that car went into the water right there. See that? Boom. Disappeared. And don't you think it's incredible that the media never played that one time anywhere? Like, Law and Crime never played it. Court TV, etc., etc., etc. They were covering that case all day long, every second, and they didn't play the most important video that there was, and that was the one we just showed you right there. And it was Kylie Rodney case. There was a party. She was in her car. She'd been drinking. Her friend didn't even want to have her drive because she was so drunk. And so she took off, the friend, and then she got in her car, and her cell phone died exactly when that car went into the water. Okay? And so that's something I did in the case, and as soon as I put that out there, all these other people go, oh yeah, look what I thought of. And that's just the way it is. It sucks that people are like that. It's embarrassing, really, for the true crime community, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. That's probably one of my best sort of discovery videos I've ever done right there. Yeah. So anyways, in this case right here, I guess what it is when you have to be able to recognize something when it's important, right? As soon as I saw this surveillance footage and I saw that car, just one car coming around, I went, oh wow, this is it right here. And then I just couldn't wait to get the 3 to 4 o'clock hour, and I think it was 4 to 5, and it was amazing. I mean, it literally had all 5, because the probable cause said the vehicle makes an initial 3 passes, and all 3 of those are on camera, 31, 39, 57. And then it makes a final 4th pass, entering the area at 4:05, right? So at 4:05 it goes back, and then it describes how it turns around in front of number 52 500 King Road, which is this building right here. It turns around and then it heads west, and they say King Road, but it's supposed to be Queen Road right here. And then when it gets to King and Queen, it does a 3-point turn and then heads back this direction again. And that's all it says, right? But you see on camera, I mean, everything. It turns around here, comes over here, and then it goes back this direction. It doesn't go up this way. It comes around right here, and then it parks right there at 4:08. And then at 4:20, the vehicle's driving away at a high rate of speed. That means between 4:08 and 4:20, the white Elantra that was seen driving around. It's not a white Elantra, Gray. It's a Ford Fusion, you bastard. Right, well, you think it's a cop or something. I don't even know what you think it is, okay? But you're wrong, because law enforcement already said that the vehicle in the area right here was a white Elantra. But they said it was 2011 or 13, Gray, you bastard. Yeah, well, the 14, 15, 16 look exactly the same. There's just this little light that's different. Huh? Yeah. And guess what, everybody? Isn't this incredible? I know. It's unlucky Brian Kohberger. He's the most unlucky human being on the planet at this point. Because there was this other white Elantra driving around in the area, missing its front license plate, on the same night that Brian Kohberger said he was... God. Why do you guys let comments stay up on there? There was a white Elantra driving around, missing its front license plate, on the same night that Kohberger himself said he was driving around late at night. And it's driving right in the area of 1122 King Road. In fact, right over here at the A&W restaurant at, I believe it's, yeah, this intersection right here, it's spotted driving this direction, missing its front license plate, and then I've timed it where you drive this direction, you pass at 1:29 and some odd seconds by this road right here, Linda Lane. There's another camera filming it, and it comes around, and the same white Elantra missing its front license plate does 4 loops, eventually ending up right here at 4:08 to 4:20. And then amazingly, inside of those 12 minutes, and we can even narrow it down more, he probably didn't enter the house until 4:09 and didn't probably leave until 4:18 or 19. Right? So that makes it something like 9 or 10 minutes that he was in that house. Then, in that same time, a knife sheath was left on the bed of Madison Mogen that contained the DNA of the same person whose vehicle is missing a front license plate, who drives a white Elantra, and said he was driving around in the area. God, he's unlucky. Whew. Wow. You know what I think is incredible is how people don't actually get it. You know, like when you explain this to them over and over again, they just see things differently because their brains are malfunctioning. This is so clear, it's almost unbelievable. No, nobody knows. Touch DNA. No, see, George is one of those people. Touch DNA, it can come from anywhere, you guys. Ryan Koberger, when he was driving around, he could have went to McDonald's and then somebody at McDonald's bought the K-bar knife sheath and then drove it around the same night that he was just randomly driving around in the area. Yeah, no, that's incorrect. All right? Incorrect. Look at touch DNA can be sort of meaningless in some circumstances, but not when there's DNA on a knife sheath left on a bed of a murdered victim. It's the same thing as finding DNA on the button snap of pants that have been pulled off of a victim that was assaulted. Okay? It's the same damn thing. Now, if the DNA was found on the shoulder of a sweatshirt, it has less meaning. Because now it's like, okay, I mean, that could have been somewhere else. But you have to also explain, why is there DNA there? Like, okay, so even if it is just DNA on the shoulder of a sweatshirt, how come their DNA is there? Isn't it more likely that this person was in the house because their white Elantra was driving around in the neighborhood than it is that it's just some unlucky situation where he was 10 miles away and then somehow touched something that ended up at a murder scene and he happened to be driving around in the area at the same time? Yes, you guys, we're just over halfway of the goal. So if we can get there, that'd be awesome. We are amazingly getting near the end of the month again and have had some major setbacks this month because of the power outage. And again, yesterday was abysmal for an unknown reason. And I'd like to think today is going to be a better day. So if you're out there and you can help support the channel, that would be fantastic. And then check in on the last day of the month and see what we do with it. We've already given away 1,000 this month to RAIN, which is violence against women. See, George Haynes is one of those wackos that shows up here. There's no evidence against Koberger. You sound like an absolute lunatic. Okay, I'm just letting you know. All right. Now, I guarantee it that you think there's no evidence against Koberger if you're from, you watch specific channels out there, let's say. All right? There's no evidence against Koberger, everybody, except for the fact that his DNA is found on a knife sheath on the bed of Madison Mogan, tucked underneath the quilt, and also he's at home removing his trash and putting it into his neighbor's trash because he didn't want his DNA collected because now he was scared that law enforcement was onto him. Yeah, he had nothing to do with it, though. Can you think of any reason why Koberger would be digging through the trash, removing his trash, if he had nothing to do with it? Like, what would make him even consider doing that? Because he got pulled over twice? Well, geez, I've been pulled over twice. I'm wondering if I'm now somebody that they might think killed somebody. I don't know who, but man, I better start removing my trash. Oh, yeah, we got the trolls showing up in here. Oh, jeez. Oh, boy. Here we go, everybody. Troll Central. Yep, monsters walk among us. Yeah, it wasn't even Pig Latin. It was just everything spelled backwards because they written backwards. I mean, man, why are we just struggling so much in here? It's unbelievable, man. Is it the show, you guys, or? Yeah, he's guilty as hell. I mean, just think about it. He was there 12 other times prior. He was scouting the area. There's only way that you would know how to drive around back here every time you do these loops is if you'd been there before. I'd been there and made many mistakes until I finally got it figured out, and then I could just go around every single time. And then when you leave, you come out here and you have to take a right, and he went this direction onto Conestoga down to Palouse River Drive and headed this way. Wrong car. It could have. Hey, George. In about 2 minutes, I'm going to block you from the channel. It's not because you have a different opinion. It's because what you're saying is absolutely idiotic. Okay. I'm sorry for your ignorance in the world. All right. And I just don't have time for it. It's not interesting. You're not being interesting to people. You're not making good points. You're not selling anything to anybody. Nobody's going, wow, that's so great. You're so awesome. And maybe that would work on another channel where it's conspiracy oriented, but it just doesn't work here. All right? So good luck. If you make another comment with the same garbage in it, you're going to be removed from the channel. Thank you very much. Yes, as a matter of fact, let's do it right now, everybody. We're going to play for all the people who never saw it, just like this wackadoodle in the chat right here. All right, here we go. Oh, we got my ads. Look at my ad revenue. Hardly any, but sure. And here we go.
No living being
got another one?
should ever eat processed food.
I guess I got to put my ad blocker back on. All right, here we go. I'm just going to do it at the end. Yeah, this part. Pullman. All right, here we go. Uninterrupted. Right there. 409. Remember, he parks at 408. Goes inside the house. And then goes up the stairs. Just watch, everybody. Just watch. This'll sell it to you. This is how you'll know. Goes to the top of the stairs, and I'm even wasting time here. He's going into Kaylee's room where there's nothing in there. Looks around, and then he goes into Madison Mogen's room. And then right here, boom. We're just going to sit here for 3 minutes, and what you have to do is picture the violence that's going on in the room, or just realize that's what's going on. You don't really have to picture it if you don't feel like it. So right now, he's in the room where Madison Mogen is. Easily could have gone up those stairs exactly how I just did it. It's very quick. Thanks, Amber Maiden. You should have put a wave option on there, because then maybe people would have, made you feel better with some waves. Critical thinking skills are important. Yes, they are. Yeah, well, you watch the wrong ones, George. You watch a lot of really stupid people, and they are stupid. All right, either they're stupid mentally, or they're really smart because they get a lot more views because they sell garbage to the masses. All right, so you might think it's awesome, and you're one of the people that they sucker in. You're one of those people, George. It's okay though. It's okay. So we're still in Madison's room right here, and he's attacking both of them, and it's let me make it bigger. There you go. Look how long this is. Don't you already feel he'd be done in the room with Madison? Madison and Kaylee would already be dead at this point in this amount of time. But instead, we've got another minute to go. We've got to keep going another minute here. Still in Madison's room, man. And if this doesn't, the prosecution should do this video right here. right? And they should describe what happened to each victim during these 3 minutes. And right now, Madison Mogan's been stabbed 10 times. 1, 2, 3, whatever. And then her throat slit, you know, whatever you want to say when they're going through it. I don't know what happened to him. But this would be the perfect way to do this, to let the jury know that there is time, right? So after all of this time that we just spent in Madison Mogan's room, it's going to keep going. Oh, George, I'm going to have to put you on timeout, George. All right, come back in maybe 10 minutes, all right? Hey, thank you so much. Quietly Frozen. Now, he's done now. Finally in Madison Mogan's room, right? And now he's going down the stairs. But you see how long that took in there? Oh, then look at, oh, then you see Ethan there, right? And then I don't know how any of this went down here, right? But here's Ethan. Just Ethan alone. And let's just pretend Ethan was there, and look at how long this is going to take right here. We're only 3 minutes and 45 seconds into this. Yeah, we don't know if that's true, Mark B. That's what you guys all repeat over and over and over again, but not one credible source out there has said anything about 53 times. Yes, it was Gray. This one guy. Okay. Yeah. Send me one news article, just one that says that. Now, in the defense of that, the news stations aren't going to mention the surveillance footage that we've been talking about for 3 or 4 or 5 months now. So I guess to be fair, who knows, right? But tell me where you keep getting this, because I hear 55, 53, 54. It changes every time somebody types it in. And I'll tell you what, you guys, if we get to the goal tonight, I'll donate 5 more memberships. All right? So we are now 95 short. And there's 520 watching. That should be very simple to do. And look at this, is still just Ethan right here. Does anybody think it took that long with Ethan? No, because he didn't even fight back. So I'm just throwing this time in there to fill the gap. I think the murders could have happened in 5 minutes or less, honestly. And he could have used all that extra time cleaning up, making sure his car didn't have any blood in it, that kind of thing. Can't you see how this could already be over at this point? Right, but we're going to go for another 3.5 minutes here. Welcome, Dree Power. Yeah, well, apparently he might have been just laying on the bed asleep when he was attacked. And then maybe Xana jumped on the bed too, and he killed both of them, he thought, on the bed. Oh, wow, I gotta get rid of this ad. There we go, hold on a second. Alright, there we go. So there's Xana, but that's not how it went, right? I'm just making a video. You go into the room, and now we're gonna spend another 2.5, 3 minutes in there just with Xana. I mean, has anybody seen this? If you're watching this for the first time, this 9 minutes of hell video, can't you see how this could be done just by watching this? Yeah, so there's a lot of people, they say 9 minutes and they go, oh, forget it, man, there's no way. If I got $1 every time I saw somebody type in, there's no way that somebody could have done this in 9 minutes. I'd be rich. I would have retired a long time ago. It's like they just can't think clearly. It's not just extremely possible, it actually happened, Marius. Yeah, I think it was even less time than that. But yeah, I see what I get what you're saying. Look, we're still going here. This is all just with Xana, and maybe this is a time where he went upstairs looking for the sheath and came back down, heard Xana whimpering and said, "It's okay, I'm going to help you," and then goes into the room and then kills her and throws her on the ground. And there's that thud sound, and Ethan's found on the bed and Xana's found on the ground, and he exits. And all of that could have easily been done in this time already. Huh? I don't get it, Dane. I thought it... You mean it wasn't enough time until you watched this? Okay. Did anybody hear my challenge up there, you guys? We can reach the goal. I'll donate 5 memberships. Well, I don't care if you're a fan of the countdown or not, Envil, because if it wasn't there, you wouldn't be able to see it, okay? If there's a reason it's there. Yeah, I don't know why you're not, wouldn't be a fan of the countdown. What does that have to do with anything? And then look at right there, boom! Right, you guys see that? So that's probably how, hold on a second. How many pause it when it gets over there? All right, and that's probably exactly how Dylan Mortensen was looking out of her door, just like that. And that's how the door opens. It's all correct. Her room was likely really dark in there. He doesn't have a flashlight on his head like I have this character, just so you can see what's going on. And she sees him, and then he takes a right here. And so that's just 9 minutes right there. Then he's exiting the door. So if you take a look and you think to yourself, hey, thanks, A. What's going on, A? Now that power and internet are restored, I think you need to call in. This should be, put your, well, no, it didn't make it over the goal, but, you know, we're getting closer for sure. And thanks, Wise Child. And look at, so you go out the door in just 9 minutes. So you saw how it started, right? We go back to the beginning where he just enters the home. Oh, what the hell is this guy? What the hell was that? Yeah, right there. Washington. So this is just coming into the house, starting at 0. Goes up and does all the things that we just said. And we're looking at a 9-minute time frame. So if you go back out to the map here, that means he parked his car right here, goes down through the slider, did all of that, but his car got here at 4:08. So let's just say at 4:09 he makes it into the building. It could even be later, so because I think it could have all been done in less than 6 minutes. I mean, there's a lot of just wasted time where it's all sitting there staring at the clock. But even if he got here at 4:08, he got inside the house at 4:09, and then 9 minutes. Now it's 4:18. That gives him time to come up here, maybe quickly switch, take off his clothes really quick, put it in a bag, and put the bag in the trunk or something, then get it, and then put the bag in another bag, something like that. Then he gets in his car and drives away at a high rate of speed at 4:20. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, it was tough with the doing the show with no power. That's for damn sure. Hey, thanks, Connie E. Yeah, I can open up the phone lines here in a little bit, though. If you guys want. But man, I mean, weren't most of you disappointed in the video that that Law and Crime put out there? That show? Man. I almost felt disrespected or something. I don't know why. It was just kind of a strange moment for me. Especially since about 2 weeks ago I emailed the producer and said, hey, Have you guys ever thought of covering the surveillance footage?
Recording in progress.
And then all of a sudden some rando person over there is covering it, but just did it so poorly that I was embarrassed for them. Right. I mean, but it's only like a minute or something you would look for it. I bet he buried his weapon in those lost 15 minutes. Right. Well, that's what we've said. Somewhere out there. Hey, thank you very much to Connie E. Your work is outstanding on these cases. Right. And I need your guys' support so I can keep doing these. And keep doing the stuff that we're doing. I mean, you know, I just told you guys earlier, if you came in late, Misty Gillis messaged me and said she is... Hold on. Let me see if I can... I'm not going to read the whole thing, but let me just say what it said. That says, I'm hot on the trail of Medina. Okay, and then she went into some other detail that I'm not going to share, but that's pretty sweet though, right? So boom, everybody, one of the cases that we funded is in it's moving forward. It's a homicide case too. And almost every one of the cases that we do costs about $5,000 or $6,000. A couple of them have been 10. And so a lot of times they'll say, Gray, yeah, it didn't pass this area. We need to do something again. I don't go, oh shit, let me try to. I just go, yeah, go ahead. You know. I mean, I'm not gonna. You don't give up on identifying somebody, right? Unless there's just no other options. Ding, 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 ding. Here, I gotta go back to the main window here. Oh, no dogs are visible. All right. Well, maybe here in a minute or so we'll do the call-ins. But I want multiple people calling in. You know, I don't want just sort of like one call or something. I think the only exposed skin was his eyebrows. All right, guys, we are now $27.03 short of the me giving 5 memberships away. All right. Now, how do we know? Listen, 7. How do we know there weren't footprints all over the house? Who said that there wasn't other footprints? You know, it's funny when you read the document. Maybe we should take a look at that really quick. Where is that? I can't remember which document that's actually in, though. I think it's in a different one. But there's a footprint, and the only reason they mentioned that footprint that they found on the second pass was that it appeared to match up with what Dylan Mortensen was saying, that he was heading out the door. You see? Where does it say that there's no other footprints in the house? Can anybody point to that sentence? There's no other footprints in the house. But on a second pass, we found one faint footprint somewhere. See, that's how everybody pictures it, but it never said that. Never said that one time, you know. It's funny. I mean, I actually thought the same thing for a while, but when you go back and look at it, it's like, why are we assuming they didn't find any merely because they're mentioning this one? Hey, thanks, 7. No, is it my... Yeah, okay, I guess we're on the screen here. So who's calling in? You can tell me what you thought if anybody watched that thing. I couldn't believe it. I mean, AI? Now, if this thing was created with AI, man, what are you talking about? So they made 3 other hours with AI? Just argue one piece of evidence, but it's all the evidence together. Right. Yeah, they keep saying, oh, all they have is DNA on the knife sheath, and it's just not true. I can name 3 things that are incredibly damning. That there was a white Elantra driving around in the area that was missing a front license plate. Koberger's alibi is that, yes, he was driving around because he knows he's on one of those cameras. So he says, yes, I'm driving around. True. And then there's a car that comes around and at 4:08 makes its final pass around and parks. And then in between 4:08 and 4:20, all 4 victims were murdered right where the Elantra was. It's sitting there. It's not moving. It's there for 12 minutes. And then also inside of that 12 minutes, in even a smaller number, probably in a 7-minute window, a knife sheath was deposited on Madison Mogen's bed that ends up having Brian Koberger's blood on it. I mean, DNA on it. Touch DNA on the snap of the knife sheath. Then, all the way back at his house, after he drove home, when he was arrested, he was so paranoid about his DNA being left at the scene that he was moving trash out of a garbage can that was his own garbage into his neighbor's garbage because he didn't want his DNA found at his own trash because he thought they were onto him. Can anybody out there, any of you pro-burgers out there, just one of you, can you explain to me why he would be removing trash from his trash can if he had absolutely nothing to do with it? Because remember, at this time, he wouldn't have a clue they were onto him. Right? Because he wasn't there. He was talking about this other shooting on campus and everything. So why was he doing that? And the answer is you can't give me one. All right. 408.
Hello.
Hello, who's this?
This is Christina.
You sound so bummed. What's going on?
No, I never know what's going on. Okay, I didn't know I'd get through.
This is
okay,
Christina.
So I'm pretty new to you.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So I was watching on my TV stream, so I'm probably like, I don't know, a minute or so behind. Mm-hmm. What you were last talking about was that you were asking why he would be separating his trash. Why would he be caught doing that?
No, why would somebody do that if they didn't think they were going to be caught doing... I mean, give me a rational explanation that he would be doing that if he wasn't involved in a crime. That's what I asked. I know why he did it, because he was trying to hide his DNA. He was trying to hide his DNA from law enforcement. That's why he was doing it. But I want these pro-burger people, they never have an answer when you ask them that question. They move on to something else.
Okay, well, I'm not a pro-burger. Should I hang up?
No, I wasn't looking for a pro-burger. What do you mean?
Okay, no, I agree, yes. Mm-hmm. Since he was doing that, that's definitely suspect. And the other thing I had thought was, he's studying all these techniques, criminology. He would know what to do, what not to do. So that's why it's even more baffling, to even try to explain away what he's doing. So that's where it's it cancels out anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean, there's so many things that point to him doing it. And, the DNA, I remember at the beginning, I never even really cared about the DNA on the knife sheath. The rest of the circumstantial evidence was so strong, and the knife sheath is just like, all right, there you go, nails it.
Right, and then when they showed that that photo of him where he's wearing that, I don't know what you call it, the turtle shell, is that what it's called? Well, anyway, as soon as I saw that photo of him in that green vest, it just clicked. I was like, oh my, like, I don't know, to sound cliche or whatever, but if there's a profile, this guy, he fits it. I don't know.
What do you mean the
Does
green?
that ruffle your feathers?
I don't remember the green vest thing.
Well, there's this photo. He was apprehended, and he's shirtless except for this green-colored vest type thing he's wearing. And he just has this smug look on his face, like if it were some sort of movie, you know, some sort of taunting feature. That's how I read it. So when I saw that, I was like, whoa, maybe they do have the right guy. But of course, you know, you can't judge based on
Well, it's not really
how
a
that
maybe.
looks.
They definitely have the right guy, 100%. You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny how, I know everybody wants me to go, he's innocent until proven guilty, you bastard. Yeah, I know. Listen, we all know that. He's got to go to trial. If he's found not guilty, it doesn't mean he didn't do it. It means that somehow the state wasn't able to sell it to a bunch of wacko jury members, right? So, you know, that's the way it works here. I believe 100%. I have no doubt in my mind that Brian Kohberger is the killer. There isn't even the shadow like, wow, what about that one thing? No, there's nothing. And the reason I don't have those thoughts is because I don't watch the crazy conspiracy nutters who put out stuff that people it clouds their brains and they think there's all this other stuff going on and it just doesn't exist. You know? So there you go.
Yeah, I agree. There's also, at the back of my mind, I'm not saying this is true or anything, but like you said, if there were someone else out there and they knew about them, they've been questioning them and everything, would they be obligated, or would we have heard about that by now, or not at all? There's no way to know?
No way to know what?
If they do have someone else, say, you know, some...
Well, they don't.
Small shred.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there isn't anybody. I mean, there isn't any evidence. Okay, if they have something like that, none of us know. Okay? There has been no evidence of any kind at all put out by any officials of any kind that have said anything that there's another person. Like early on, they were saying that they thought there were multiple, like they made comments like the people driving the vehicle or something. You know, so that everybody jumps on that as if they could tell that there were multiple people in there, you know. I mean, other people say that. Anyways.
And so, before I go, I just wanted to ask, do you know what's happening on the hearing on Friday? What exactly they're going to be doing?
Is the hearing this Friday, like the 26th? Okay, so it is this Friday.
Right.
I'm not exactly sure what that hearing is, but I'm going to play it live on my show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I'm going to play it, and we'll see what happens. I mean, it's probably just... I mean, hopefully it's got some interesting stuff in it, because it's been a while since he's been in court. But now it's the judge, his channel is playing it, so I'm just going to go ahead and play it on the show, and it just be a live stream. I don't have to be part of some pool somewhere. All right. Okay. Well,
okay.
Hey, thank you for...
All right. All right. Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for calling in. Have a good one. Bye. Yeah. I don't know why you guys are like being clowns saying that you want George to call in. I'm not interested in that kind of garbage, you guys. You guys like to make shows into drama shows, and I don't really think it's cool. I think it's stupid, right? So. No, I mean, I'm just going to answer the calls in order. Anyways, hey, there you go. This is call-in user.
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Who's this?
Hi. Hi, it's A. How are you?
Well, it's A. Okay. What's going on?
You've rejoined civilization with electricity.
Yeah, kind of sucked for a few days there.
We felt for you. We really did feel for you. It's the worst thing ever. And it seems like it never gets fixed. Like I did email you, by the way. So when you get your get back caught up and everything, I did send you an email.
Today you did?
But no, gosh no.
You might have to forward
Thursday.
it. Okay, you might have to forward it again. I have no.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, I think I did see that. I think I saw that.
No, I will. I'll resend it. I'll resend it because I figured it probably just got stacked into about 500 emails when you lost power. Yeah, so I actually would love to hear other people. I just wanted to. You asked about that video yesterday.
I'm just not interested in hearing from people like George. Like you guys are like, oh, I want to hear from George. I don't get anything out of it because it's just what happens is when you get conspiracy nutters that come on. There's no way to argue against them because I can't. Every single thing that he said in there, I absolutely could answer it. But
right.
Sometimes they say stuff that you can't argue against because it's so fantastical. Like, how do you know this person didn't do something? And then what do you say? Well, I don't know. I guess he got something there. I don't know how I know. How do you know that Bill Clinton wasn't part of this, you guys? How can you prove it to me? And there's no way you can prove it, but maybe if you had his logs, you could. But anyways, yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I always think it's the value in hearing from people like that is, well, of course you're right. You're never going to convince somebody who doesn't want to see a fact that it exists, right? I mean, this is a big problem we live in right now. So many people think we live in a world of choose your own facts. We could get into a big philosophical discussion about that, but what I think there's value in is hearing from the skeptics, so that sometimes I think it's good to know what people that are legitimately out there, not trolls. Like, what do they think are the holes? What are the parts that are confusing them? What parts do they think don't add up?
Things just aren't adding up. No, the thing is that those are people that never. It doesn't matter what your explanation is. When they say things just don't add up, and then you ask what is it, and then you explain it to them, they never listen to what you're really saying. They just, it's like an echo chamber or whatever. I don't even know what to say. They just kind of, in their own mind, they hear their own thoughts, So it's a waste of time.
It's true. They're listening to respond. They're not listening to comprehend.
Right. I like people, I don't mind people coming in that aren't sure of something, that literally are listening and then go, oh, wow. And if they have other questions, you can answer that one. They go, okay, that makes sense. And we're moving forward here. But when nobody ever comes in and has a really good point about it not being Koberger. It never happens because it doesn't exist, right?
It doesn't exist. Absolutely does not exist. You're completely right about that. Well, about the video yesterday, that the Law and Order, I was sort of surprised because it is so. I mean, you've had that video on for, gosh, I would think at least a couple of months. Am I wrong?
Which one? The 9 minutes one?
No, I'm talking about the one that they did yesterday, where they were making a lot about the noises.
Oh yeah, I think I've had this video for way more than that. I had it there before I even went to Idaho the first time in September, because I knew what the route was and everything back then. So I think it's 5-6 months old. Some of this video.
Wow.
Footage.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you. I listened to the audio a couple of times. I did kind of think I heard maybe a dog bark, but it's so it's so unspecific. It really could be anything. It could be a person yelling. It could be an object hitting the ground. It could be anything. I mean, really almost anything. But I think the most important part of the video was, obviously the pass-throughs multiple times. And then, of course, the fact that you can actually identify the car with the window shape. It's so important. And I had a question for you, but I'm sure the answer is they couldn't, because otherwise they would have arrested him a lot sooner. But as the car's driving away in front of the cam footage that has not leaked, the one that you were showing where he would initially, from his perspective, he's turning left. But then when he's leaving, he's driving back down that street. Do you think that they could have potentially picked up that license plate? No, right?
I think the lights would blow it out. The thing is, I've actually seen footage a little bit from there. So, like a little bit of footage. It's from a random time, time earlier in the evening on that camera. And just a car kind of blows out you can't see anything. But as soon as it turns, you get a great profile shot. So when that vehicle does a 3-point turn, they're going to be able to tell you exactly what that, type of vehicle that was. Or, at least they'll know it's an Elantra. That's why they know it's an Elantra. And it keeps driving back around and coming through and going back around.
Well, and we can see that even just from the leaked footage on that other camera from the apartment complex because of the shape of that window. As you did that overlay today, I mean, that's really, really quite persuasive that is an Elantra. But I'm sure you're right. They have much better footage of that. I was just curious if when he drove back down after he murdered the 4 victims, in my opinion, do you think that camera would have picked up that back license plate? But, I mean, I'm sure if there was any way they could have figured that out, they would have moved on it a lot quicker. They probably just didn't get it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it doesn't sound like, in the probable cause, it doesn't say that. But maybe there's other places later on that they got something and they can make a partial plate or whatever. To me, I mean, the plate's cool. It'd be awesome to have that, because then it would absolutely mean it was his car. But, I think it already means it's his car because of the DNA found on the knife sheath. So the knife sheath became really important because then it sort of proves that that's his vehicle out there. Because of the odds at that point are like astronomical that,
it's like that. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, it's funny how there's even conversations still ongoing about it, really. But I guess, I think what you're saying makes sense to me too, because let's say they did pick the plate up, but that just shows there's a car, and they have to be able to show to the judge that they have enough evidence to arrest this person. And of course, once he's arrested and charged with this gruesome, horrifying murder, he's not getting out. So he's going to lose all of his constitutional rights to freedom pending a conviction. So they probably thought, no, we've got to wait to get this DNA in order to, because, do you remember that hearing back in September when the prosecutor, the defense had just given their putative alibi, I'll put that in quotes, where he was, quote, driving around, and the district attorney said something like, well, we knew that already. And it was really kind of funny the way he said it. Kind of like, yeah, we already know you were out driving around. So at that moment, I remember wondering at that time, like, did they actually have much clearer video? Did they always know that it was, from pretty early on, that he was who they were looking at for this crime, but they didn't have the DNA piece in order to charge him. So they actually were following him. They actually did have eyes on him. I don't know.
Yeah, I think they. I just think it was the DNA. Actually, they had these characters that, remember the suspect vehicle 1. Maybe they even had other Elantras that at some point they were looking at. But the DNA is what led back to Brian Kohberger, and he was one of the names that they already had as somebody that owned a white Elantra, and now I think that's when he became really, really, really significant to them. And then especially then he's a criminology, doctorate student. I mean, the whole thing just started making sense at that point.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And my last thought on that is, I mean, the Pennsylvania license plate, like the back plate, would look completely different than Washington or Idaho. Now, in the dark, I don't know, because isn't it blue, like a darker blue background with yellow or something? I don't know. Maybe, like, I was just thinking, even if they couldn't make out the numbers, like, they could see that this is an out-of-state plate, which, again, I mean, they might have kind of had an idea they were looking at him as a prime suspect before they actually had that DNA come back that was substantial enough to go to the judge and get an arrest warrant. But I don't know. I'm sure all this will come out. I assume it will come out in trial if it goes to trial.
Well, yeah. I mean, do you think he might plea at some point?
I mean, I certainly would recommend that to him if I were representing him. But the problem is, as we talked about last week, it's his decision. And if he wants to go all the way, and you have to remember, I mean, this guy, he's really enjoying this. Because one thing, I was talking to my husband after we talked last week, and, we forget that. So he got this cell phone in June, which I think we think, well, he probably moved out to Washington in June of 22. But it was also June of 22 when he uploaded the survey onto Reddit, wasn't it? Asking criminals how they were feeling when they were committing these crimes and everything. But that was long after he would have graduated. He would have submitted his thesis or whatever else. So what was the point of that survey, really? I mean, I guess he could say, well, it was in preparation for my PhD study.
Right, I think it was his PhD studies is what that was for.
Yeah, I mean, sure. And I guess, it just seems to me that, he wanted the experience of committing a gruesome murder. And it wouldn't, totally surprise me if he also wanted the experience of getting caught and getting tried and getting convicted. And who knows what else, because, it all goes back to some of the psychological profiling that the New York Times did in that article about somebody who was at the age of 14 writing on the internet about having serious, deep issues with connecting with emotion or feeling or experiences. And maybe, who knows? I mean, this is just armchair psychology. It doesn't mean anything. I was just wondering, if they've told him.
Every time I look at him, I was just going to say, every time I look at him, he just doesn't seem like somebody who is sitting there going, man, I've been charged with something I didn't do. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
You look at him,
absolutely.
It's like he's just sort of enjoying it. It almost feels like he thinks,
100.
I'm like Bundy here. Look at me in court. I'm just, acting all smooth and polite and everything. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, next step is he fires the lawyers and tells the judge he's going to represent himself. And don't be surprised if that happens, by the way. I mean, I won't be. So yeah, I mean, it's got to be hard for them. I think I said that last week. It's got to be hard for them because they probably have recommended to try to get a deal. Spare the death penalty. You're not ever getting out anyway. They've got you. Take a deal. But if the client doesn't want to, there's nothing they can do. They got to do what the client wants.
I wonder where the trial is going to be
try
in
the
this
case
one.
that's going to trial.
I mean, it doesn't sound like he kind of waived his right for a speedy trial. That kind of tells you something right there.
True.
It seems like that they had something. They must have something that they've seen behind the scenes, where he's just like, "Oh man, we need to find something for this. Let's see if we can spend some time trying to get rid of. If you can get rid of the DNA and then all the fruit that came from the DNA and the warrant and everything." They're trying all those things, and it might get to a point where, God, none of that worked. All right, we better plea here, because if they show the pictures of what you did, you're going to get the death penalty. So if you can maybe cut a deal and get life without parole, something like that.
Right. Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think so. And that's, I think, a lot of what this whole, chasing the rabbit trail of the grand jury and it wasn't properly seated and blah, blah, blah. I think, didn't the judge say that's a really creative argument, which is code for, like, that would make a really interesting law exam, but that has absolutely nothing to do with the way we practice law.
What was that part there?
I mean,
what was that part? I missed the...
I said when they were, when they had that really, like, sort of lugubrious legal theory associated with how the grand jury wasn't properly seated and there wasn't, this and all these procedural issues made the indictment something that needed to be thrown out and it all needed to start over again. And Judge in his order said, that's a really creative theory, but
yeah.
No. And, like, it would, like, I mean, he didn't say this, but I was thinking, like, your argument would make a very interesting law exam question, but it's not how we practice law. And he's not going to recreate the criminal code to serve this instance. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. But I think we're going to see a lot of this because we don't really know how much this man is actually involving himself in the arguments that are getting put forward. I mean, he does think he's a bit of an expert, so.
Yeah, I'm wondering I'd like to be a rabbit on the wall and hear how the conversations go. Is he running the show in there and they're just kind of doing what he says, or is he just quiet and just kind of accepting what's going on? Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, there's no way to know. It's all speculation, but I would just imagine that an attorney as experienced as Ann Taylor is, she understands what her first priority is, but she's also got a client who, I mean, in my opinion, is not playing with the full deck.
Didn't you think it was, I thought it was, there should be something illegal about Ann Taylor. She was representing, I think, Xana's mom or something, and then dropped her like a hot potato to go pick up on Koberger. That seems like there's something like a conflict of interest or something. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Oh, I thought it was. I know a lot of lawyers thought it was. I did see some attorneys who again, this is sort of where you peel the layers of the onion back, and there's this sort of theoretical application that she was Xana's mother's lawyer, and then there's the real world application that she's the only death penalty qualified attorney in Moscow, and also that supposedly, and I can't even remember where I read this, that she did not actually ever meet, like, her name was on the pleadings, her name was on the documents, but she never actually met with the mother. That was, junior attorneys in the defender's office who actually were doing the legwork. But, I mean, I remember that her mother was upset about it. I saw her interviewed saying that she was upset that her lawyer was representing the defendant in this murder case, but it didn't seem like anybody else had a problem with it. But yeah, I mean, it shows you what it really shows beyond the conflict of interest, which I thought it certainly looked that way, but I guess other people had different opinions. But it really shows you how small that town is, and that, there's 6 degrees of separation between a lot of the different, players, including like the university and the amount of money that, I mean, they don't want, like we talked about this, that house, there was a lot of, I believe the right thing would have been to leave the house. I talked about this, but they didn't want that house because they don't want that to affect recruitment. They don't want that to affect enrollment. I mean, they want to move past this in as proactive and positive way as possible. And, the district attorney is elected there. So there's a lot of pressure to go along with what the university wants. And I mean, wonder how many people in the town of Moscow are employed by the university. So, I mean, there is some small town aspects, politic aspects of this case that you can't get rid of. And one of them is Ann Taylor represented one of the victim's mother in an unrelated case. So I don't know. It's interesting. It's an interesting case. I just hope he never ever sees daylight again.
Yeah. Well, did you happen to see that video today, or the one I made my video about today? The one
Yes, the one earlier.
The one on law and
yeah.
crimes video. Did you go watch theirs?
I saw theirs yesterday, and then I saw yours today, earlier.
Yeah. I mean, when you watched it, what did you think? I mean, for me, when I watched it, I just felt like almost insulted, you know? Like they didn't spend any time watching videos that literally say exactly what we're looking at. They didn't seem like they knew what the hell they were even looking at. They were just, hey, here's some audio.
Didn't. I mean,
you know?
Yeah, no, they definitely didn't. I mean, they didn't do the legwork. They brought Phil Waters in to sort of give them cover because they are so completely ignorant of the circumstances behind that video that they maybe legit don't even know if it's real because they haven't actually done the deep dive into the circumstances of that video. And
which is weird because it's been around for 5 months. You know, it's mind-boggling to me that something that important, the bigger network type, you know, social media players have so little interest in something that's phenomenally important. I mean, it's one of the biggest pieces of information that exists currently, you know, other than, you know, you got the probable cause that says something, but now we see it.
Right.
And it's a fact that it happened. You know, so I don't understand that part. It's weird to me.
Well, and yeah, I mean, and you can tell. I mean, I've watched Phil Waters enough since this crime occurred that he I think, I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think he thinks the video is rather significant. I think he appreciated the significance of the video maybe a little bit more than the host did.
Yeah, except then he brought up the things like, well, if it's AI, though, and I was like, oh, jeez.
Well, right. Well, that's just CYA stuff. I mean, he's just going to say that just in case, but I mean, I think, you know.
What was weird to me is, what was weird about me is the retired detective guy. Yeah, I agree with him on a couple things, but he thought it was really important, but the stuff that they were talking about wasn't important. Like the audio stuff, like, you know, hearing what could be a bark or something.
Right.
Like that stuff doesn't really mean anything. The significant portion of the video was stuff that they didn't talk about, which would have matched what he said. It's almost like he saw the reality of the video somewhere else, but he was only talking about that. And then I don't know. It was really strange because I wouldn't have said the same thing if I only saw what was presented on that show. A 405 video coming around and maybe a dog barking, you know. It's like, what?
Right. No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I think the problem is that they did not spend the time doing the analysis. And I think the other thing that gave your assessment more color was the fact that you actually drove the route. You drove the route, you timed the route, you kind of did that video of, you know, like minute by minute by minute, you know, starting with when that first pass by was. Mm-hmm. And I think that anybody who sort of watches that and sort of distills everything according to like the digital clock. And I think you made the point, I think it was maybe yesterday or I don't remember. You made the point where you said that, you know, the timestamp on the camera that we haven't actually seen that video footage. It hasn't leaked, but the one that's got the far more clear view, that timestamp according to the PCA was like 420 or something, and this one was 421. But the timestamps aren't necessarily going to match because they're not like coordinated to like Greenwich Mean Time.
You know what's amazing though is the time on the camera. It must be set to internet time on the Linda Lane because it matched the police officer's body camera with the horn honking to the second. I mean, it was amazing. It's like,
wow.
You know, it was like this little horn in the background.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was incredible.
I forgot about that.
It was like literally the second. So that's pretty awesome there. But one of the things we don't really know is when they say, hey, it drove in the area at 3:29. You know, does that mean 3:29 exactly? Or, you know, I bet it's like, I think they're just using they're eliminating the seconds at the end. So they're just kind of like
Right.
329. It could be 329 and 40 seconds even. They're just saying 329, and then
Right.
I got over here at 3. You know, but the thing is, it matches perfectly when I'm driving, and timed it all out. Every single thing matched up. It was it's amazing. But of course, I had to say the part about where you parked for 2 or 3 minutes looking at the house on pass number 1. Or it wouldn't be pass number 1. 1, he shows up there, and then he's about to start number 2, and then he comes around, and he also waits. So the first one, he just drives by, and then he parks and watches for 2 minutes. Then he drives around on the lot to drive, then comes back on the number 2. He also parks there for, and then that's the one where he doesn't stop. So just even on the second one, he doesn't stop. He drives away, and then maybe at 3:45, he's seen at that gas station on that image that's out there at 3:45, and he comes back at 3:57, and on that one, he does wait for the 2 or 3 minutes again, because on that loop, it only takes 8 minutes to come back at 4:05, and he does the little turnaround, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But it's just kind of interesting. Right. I mean, I think I've almost put it all together in there. Hopefully it's, exactly where he went. Nobody knows. I can't tell you when he went up Elantra Drive that he exactly went, but it makes the most sense on the map.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, of course, all the gaps will be filled in at trial, and I'm sure there's going to be stuff that come out that, oh, wow, I can't even believe that or whatever, but it's going to be, it's all going to fit together like a puzzle. And, I mean, unless he does take a plea agreement, in which case, it'll all depend on.
They're going to need to have a hearing. They're going to need to, if they do a plea agreement, they're going to need to have something that they release that describes, we don't get to see the crime scene photos or anything, but they need to put something out there that describes in detail what happened, kind of like what they did in Chris Watts or something. They had a little hearing.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Yes, but it will be it'll be an agreed to document between the defense and the prosecution, and approved by the court. Whereas live witness testimony and stuff like that, you can get additional facts. But I mean, the smartest thing would be from his perspective would certainly be to take a deal. But,
I think he's going to go to trial. I think he wants to.
I think so too.
So that's good. Can't wait.
Yeah, it's good. It's good so long as he's convicted. It's good.
Yeah.
But and I think I don't think there's any doubt he will be. None. Zero.
I think they've been done a long time. I think they've had all what they need for months now. They're just waiting to go through all the procedural crap to get the trial going.
Were you talking like a couple days ago about how the DA had said something about, like, we want to actually have this go to trial this summer, and it seemed like they were saying in Moscow. So it's going to be up to the defense probably to do the motion to, move it, to change venue, which I think they will win. I don't think they will be forced to try this case in Moscow. But that would probably make it harder to do in the summer, but you never know. I mean, some judges are very efficient, and they get the jury, and then they take the jury to another city. But in this case, maybe the defense would say, well, we don't want a Moscow jury. We want a Boise, Idaho jury or whatever. So it'll be very interesting to see what they're able to do, how that all goes,
Yeah. Well, looking forward to seeing how that goes. But I got to get these other. There was one caller dropped off already.
So good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's fun.
So good to talk to you.
Yeah, it's always
all
fun.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Thanks for calling in. It's always interesting. All right, have a good one.
Oh yeah, thank you. Okay, bye.
Bye. All right. So if there's that other caller that's still out there, maybe you can call back again. 715. You're on. Sorry for the longer wait, but. A's calling. It's interesting.
It's all good. It's Ivan Victor.
Oh, Ivan Victor. Okay. What's going on, Ivan?
It's tough following A. I tell you, she's awesome. I'm so glad she calls in. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
she's-
nice to get a level-headed.
Well, it's cool to have
and
a
just-
attorney that, you know, I don't know if she's
Right.
still one or was one or whatever, but she knows
you
that
could-
aspect of it.
You can just tell she's not caught up in the sensationalism of it, and so that's what I love. So I love listening, and I'd wait for an hour just to follow her. But you know, some of the things, like, first of all, like, I watched that. I was all hyped up. To watch that LNC thing today, and I was embarrassed for them. I was literally embarrassed because, you know, you're a sports fan, Gray, right? I know you are. And so, you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when national pundits try chiming in on, like, local stories about sports teams they know nothing about, and they just throw out random epitaphs and crap that, like, you know what I mean? It just made no sense.
Yeah.
And the fact, why are they omitting all these other videos of the vehicle? Like, are they doing it on purpose? Do they not know they exist? Like, what is the point of that?
Yeah, I don't understand it in anything. Like I said before, the Kylie Rodney overlay video has never been shown ever on any national TV show ever. And it's like, it was so incredible. I mean, isn't that amazing? Something like that.
Yeah,
what would make you not do that?
Like what is, and these guys up there, like, the second they said AI, I almost threw my phone, Greg. Like, and I try not to get worked up like that. Like, when they said AI, like, at that point, you are one step away from a spirit box, okay? Like, in my mind, I mean, you're really a 3 hour, and they didn't even know the address of the cameras. Like, are they purposely playing dumb? Do they just not know the facts of the case? Like, what is the point of that? And the other thing I wanted to mention about BK's behavior, and, you know, I hate how much attention, you know, the trolls get who are just throwing oddball comments into the chat, but I feel like we have a duty to refute them and make them realize how silly they are. Maybe they don't care, but one of my points that, like, I think is interesting is, how about the downward spiral of BK after all this happens, right? Like, we didn't know that, of course, at first, but he's getting in constant arguments with his professor.
Yeah, fired even. And he changed the way he would grade papers. He started giving everybody, like, A's and stuff because he was like, which is weird. He was giving everybody A's, but he's still arguing with his teacher. Like, I didn't really get that.
Yeah, like it's a total downward spiral that we see. And so, yes, he's a sicko and a psychopath and probably has no, you know, ability to connect with people on a human level. But his behavior outside of the murders was not that, like, you know, every person who has a downward spiral is a killer. But when you put two and two together, it just shows, like, how everything else in his life was deteriorating quickly. Because at some point that has to weigh on anybody who has any kind of, you know, human, you know, emotion or whatever, you know. And it's detailed very accurately, or very, you know, precisely, how, you know, 1 minute he's doing better and he agrees to it, then 2 days later he's fighting with people, but he's giving great grades. Like it's like nothing. It all.
Yeah, we also forget the part where he used to go to this bar, and he was put on a list of, like, weirdos, you know, like somebody to look out for when he shows up. I mean, doesn't anybody think that means something? I mean,
I've lived in college towns almost all my life because, like, you know, Wisconsin, we have a lot of universities here. And so, do you know how bad you have to be to get put on a weirdo list at a college bar? I mean, for goodness sakes. I mean, half the people in there are awkward and just looking for, you know, tail, or just looking for whatever. And, like, you have to be beyond, you know, creepy to get put on a list at a college bar. Like, it's...
Everybody's a little bit creepy in college.
Right.
So to actually be put on a list, that means you were, like, extra creepy, right? He didn't. Exactly. That means he said something other than "you have lizard eyes." He said something, right?
And imagine, he said something way worse than birthing hips. Imagine the stuff he said when he was trying to buy a girl a drink. Like, imagine how many drinks girls were like, "Nah."
Would you like a drink? You have nice birthing hips.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah,
you know, you would look great painted on my wall. You know, something just absolutely just like out of this world. You know, let me paint you like one of my French girls. You know,
your skin would look great on me. He's like, oh my God, you're Hannibal Lecter, you freaking nut job. Oh,
yeah,
God.
I mean, it's just like, so when you add all this together, and then on top of all that, beyond the, you know, we know he likes surgical gloves, and so the idea, like, I think common knowledge, people think like, oh, he had like thick like gloves on when he did this, and so I hate responding to the George comment, like, why was his DNA only on this? You know, maybe he was wearing surgical gloves and they ripped during the course of stabbing 5 people or 4 people. And that's the only reason one print is on, you know what I mean? Like, his gloves could have ripped easily.
Or he cleaned the hell out of that sheath knowing he was going to leave it there, and he just missed this little spot under the button. See, that's why I always go back to, I'm sort of, you know, there's 2 things, like, if he left it there on purpose, it was going to be his calling card in future murders, leaving maybe a different sheath of different weapons, but doesn't match maybe the weapon. Who knows what it was, right? But the thing is, but I mean, the reason I think that, you know, so it's either the calling card, but the counter to the calling card is it's okay, I'm going to help you, because that means that that's the only reason I can think of, is that he went up to look for the knife, and when he came back down, Xana's still alive, and then he says that again to her, thinking he had already killed her, but then needs to finish her off. So that sort of counters my calling card theory.
Well, and the only reason I, you know, say that maybe he was just wearing surgical gloves when he went in there and to do all this is because that's what he was wearing when he was separating the trash. And so maybe that was like his thing, you know, just wear these surgical gloves. And maybe, you know, while he was stabbing one of the first couple of victims, you know, the finger ripped. And that's why there's a, you know, mark. And who cares? It already points to him. So who cares why it's there? It's there.
I mean, it's like the circumstantial evidence. Like, you might go, if there was nothing else in the world that pointed to him being there, then you might be able to make a better argument somewhere like, yeah, man, I mean, I don't know. Is there some way the guy that bought the knife had, you know, and even that's just kind of totally doesn't even make sense. Oh, there you are. Yeah, I can't tag you, so I was wondering where you took off. But anyways, but the thing is, look at. So, you got the DNA on the knife sheath, right? But you have him turning his phone off at 2:47, and then it turns back on at 4:48. So inside of that 2 hours, all 4 of the victims were murdered. Okay. Then you have inside of that, you have we'll just narrow it down, that at 3:31. The car shows up in the area, and at 4:20 it's heading away to high rate speed. But now that we have the surveillance footage, you can literally narrow it down that at 4:08 to 4:20 the vehicle was parked there, and inside of that 12 minutes, the knife sheath was deposited on the bed with his DNA on it, and a white Elantra driving around missing a front license plate. I mean, wasn't that a closing argument? Come on.
I've conceived 3 children in 12 minutes. Okay, like, you know what you can do in 12. You know what you can do.
Well, you can't conceive anybody. Okay, well, I don't know, man. Are you like a little? I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what you can do in 12 minutes? Like, it's a lifetime. It's the fact that you don't think that you can attack 4 drunken kids who don't have any idea what's going on. Like, that's why I think your 9 minutes of hell video is one of the most powerful videos. Like, it should win an award for YouTube. Like, if they give any. Like, it's the most, like, they should play that in court.
That is something in court where you could play. They might have to do something more generic with the video, or not even have anybody in it. Just sort of, here's it showing up at Madison's door, then the clock. You don't show bodies or anything like that. But they've done that in court where they sit there and they go, wait, sit there for 30, she was strangled to death. That's 3 minutes. And then they say, now here's how long that takes. And they sit there and make you wait for 3 minutes. And then you go, man, that's a long time somebody didn't let up on that, you know, ligature. Right?
Man.
So they do that
well,
sometimes.
And like you said, the fact that Ethan didn't fight back, like he was blindsided or he was passed out cold, and this is why I think, I think A has a decent point. Like maybe, he's not taking any pleas. Okay, he's not taking any pleas. He wants to make the families go through this again. Okay, that's how I feel about this. He wants, and you know what's going to be sick is that they're going to call those other two roommates, and they're going to make them explain what all these weirdos and all these sickos online. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? I think he wants to hear that in court, just for the. You know what I'm saying? And it's gonna be terrible. But anyway, love you, man, and keep up the great work.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Yeah.
That was funny. All right, I'm glad you have the normal, accent now. It sounds just like you did before, but it just doesn't have the Russian.
This is Ivan Victor, and we are.
Yeah, go back to that again. Let's hear. Give us an example of that again, just really quick. Can you get back in the character? Say something.
What was Mr. Kohlberg doing? Stomping around with wooden feet? What was he doing? Mr. Victor signing off.
You know what? You used to do it better than that. I think you've lost some of your skill.
I've lost it because I've been out of character for so long. And
yeah.
I
thought it was pretty impressive how you stayed in character even when something should have distracted you from being in character.
Yeah, well, every improv, practice makes perfect. You fall out of practice, and you know what I mean. It just happens. But I'm happy to be a part of the channel as just a normal person, and I'm glad you didn't ban me forever. And I love you guys.
Hey, well, good to have you on here. All right, have a good one. See you.
Yeah, bye.
Ivan Victor. Now, who's the other one that was on hold for a long time? It's a great time to call in now because the line is open. Yeah, I don't know what happened up there. I have no idea what was going on with N Bell. I always liked having N Bell around here. She's always supported the channel. I don't know what happened because I wasn't watching. Oh, and here's Jenny again. Gave the show a 3.5 out of 10 last night at the last minute. Thank you for your kindness. Whew. Wow. Let's see. You're like mold. You're sure growing. Yeah, I do like Ivan. Yeah, I always actually kind of liked Ivan. I just didn't like when he, I don't know, whatever the hell he did. There was something he did, I can't remember. Like he went somewhere else, or it's Ivan Victor in there. And nobody asked you either last night, Jenny. No, it wasn't the fake accent. I mean, I knew it was fake. I guess it was once. Yeah, I realized it was fake, but then I heard him on. He was on some show somewhere, and I was like, screw that. But he came back and just sort of been like a regular freak, so that's cool. Right. Let's see. You're actually German? What? 9. This is mine. As being disrespectful to the caller over and I couldn't tell what she was saying. I didn't even know who she was talking to. Jessica. I only saw one of her comments. And I didn't know who she was referring to or anything. Yeah. But like we're 2 hours into the show, let's see if we can keep moving up on the goal tonight, everybody, to make up for last night's catastrophe. Literally one of the 5 worst shows ever in that regard. It was hard to decipher at worst then. All right, so who's got some questions in here? And by the way, is there anybody out there that are sort of newer here, like in the last year or so, where after watching some of the videos and stuff that I've been putting on here that you've totally changed your mind on the case? Jumped in a car and raced off after the murder. No time to change. Oh, he definitely had time to change, yeah. Because at 4:17 is likely when he left the house. Let's see. Yeah, I think it's really simple. Yeah. They parked at 4:08. Gets in the house at 4:09, exits the house 4:17, 4:18. He already, before he went into the house, he put some plastic bags outside of the vehicle. He gets up to his vehicle. He uses, let's see, he takes his gloves off and then places them in the bag perhaps, or maybe it's hard to say what he did with the gloves first. So he put the gloves in the bag, put all of his clothing in the bag, then he put the gloves of that bag in another bag, and then sealed it up. Put it in his car, then maybe covered his seat and so forth with plastic, and then drove away. But it was already covered when he showed up. Seems pretty, people try to invent things that, how hard something is without really thinking through it. They just want to say it just to say. But I've always thought it was him. Right, but I want to know if there's people out there that maybe at first just were like, I don't know, man, I heard this, I heard that. But now you see the reality. That's what I'm looking for. I know that I've changed a lot of people's minds on the time. Like the 9 Minutes of Hell video had a ton of people in the comments that would say, man, I didn't think this was possible, but now that I see this. Oh, we already covered that, Dan. That was at the beginning. You can get the rewind. Right, when you say 9 minutes out loud, it sounds short. But when you see 9 minutes in action, now you could go, well, everything goes by quicker when you're moving, but okay, great, right? But, I mean, if you did a punching bag for a minute and a half, you'd be, you get a lot of punches in. Even if you did them somewhat slow. Okay, so how about this? In 3 minutes, there are 180 seconds. So let's say you punched half of that time. Well, that would be 90. And the second would be like this. That would be 2 seconds, right? So if somebody's in a flurry, they're stabbing a lot quicker than that. And so if you want to say there's 53, well, okay, I don't have any evidence that there's that many stab wounds on anybody. People say that all the time, 53, 55, 54. They type it in everywhere you go, but there's no evidence whatsoever that suggests it. Well, cool, Taggy girl. Man, you guys haven't thrown me in prison in a long time. That's one of the ways to help generate the funds on the channel. But man, it's like, have I been that great? Jesus. Surely I've been mean to somebody tonight. Do you think he was really counting down the time? That's totally different scenarios, though. I still don't even understand what you're saying when you type that in. You've typed it in before, and I don't even know what it means. That's been so nice. Oh, God. Yeah, that's what I mean. It never makes sense when I read it. So you gotta... He's just tolerate. But listen, you guys, I need you to get more support on the channel on the nightly basis. I mean, especially when you have 500 something people watching. It should be easy to have really good nights. And see the goal at the top of the screen there? That's less than it always was when I never had a goal. Okay, remember when I'd give out notebooks and so forth, that was when we would be 300, and it was always easy to do that. I know the economy isn't that great, but it just seems like people have a different mindset or something. It's like it's the only way to keep the channel going and to do what we do at the end of the month. I'd like to have a good year again. At least get into the $40,000 range of giving away money, but sort of the bulk effect, it comes down to you guys. Yeah, Ivan said he could conceive 3 babies in 9 minutes, and I was like, well, you don't conceive anything. Yeah, so. And hopefully what I just said didn't fall on deaf ears yet again. Yeah, I think Koberger was trying to emulate Bundy. I made a video about that early on. I think he learned about Bundy. He thought Bundy was sort of handsome, and he thought he could kind of be a little bit like Bundy, and so he drove all the way from Pennsylvania to Washington just like Bundy did. Then he attacks a sort of an off-campus sorority house like Bundy did. And then he drove all the way back home, going through Utah, Colorado, 2 of Bundy's places, and then makes his way back home again. And yeah. Although Bundy killed with rocks. I mean, like, not rocks, like heavy clubs, like a clubbing instrument. He didn't use knives. Yeah, that's right. I mean, I try to give away over 50% of the net revenue to the channel, so hopefully you guys feel like that's worth something. Thank you, Tiggy Girl. And don't forget, we do have the Chloe notebooks. I don't know if she's on the screen up here. Let's see. Oh, they must all be doing something else. It's like a zoo, like a like a cage or something, and hey, look at they're not there. A display, a zoo display, and they're in some other room at this point. Yeah, but check it out. Look at. Let me show you these things. All right. Here, I'll show you what they look like. Just a second. Alright, check it out. Here we go. It's kind of screwed up on the paw, but look at that. You get that right there with Chloe on it and the GHI logo, right? Then I even put you get a sticker too, but I put one in some of them at in the back right there, see? But then you get one that you can use as a sticker. And then look at, I have Chloe stamping on the back here. Then you also get the Freak Stress Ball. One that you can pretend my face and just crush it up like that. Trolls, you might like that. Then the blue pen right here that has, they're actually pretty good pens. It says Freak on it. And has a little mini picture of, I don't know if of me on there, I guess. All right. So that if you send 30 to PayPal, I write a note in there and everything, and I ship it off to you. All right. So don't forget to get your Chloe notebook. Hopefully that didn't fall on deaf ears. I can see Zozo's really trying to pump those out. Let's see. Yeah, Jesus. Dylan never called 911. Hey, everybody. Dylan never called 911. She did it, man. She did it. She's part of something. Something just doesn't add up. There it is. Yeah, frozen fear. I've had that before. Frozen shock phase. All this info, cameras, phone pings, DNA evidence, etc. Wonder what Ann Taylor thinks and is asking BK to explain all away so he's not guilty. His explanation is, I drive around late at night. You know, I just drive around and, you know, they probably have my car on some cameras, but I didn't do it. But how come your DNA is on the knife sheath? I don't know. Maybe I shook hands with the killer earlier in the day, and I just happened to be driving around the house late at night at 4 in the morning, exactly the time that they were killed. Oh, God, you guys, give me a break. Hey, thanks, Just Judy and George Leonard. All right. But Gray, you keep saying he's the one driving around. There's no video of him driving the Elantra, you bastard. Yeah. Okay, buddy. All right. Yeah. He just said he was driving around his Elantra. And it just so happens there was one in the area missing its front license plate. Well, Gray, there's all kinds of out-of-town students that might have an Elantra missing its plate, too. But would they be driving around in between 2:47 and 5:30 in the morning, all the way back to I would just say 4:48. But he's seen on camera again at 5:30, so it's literally 2.5 hour, like a 2.5 hour time frame, where his vehicle is out and about, and he turns off his phone between 2:47 and 4:48, where he turned it back on near Blaine, Idaho. And then the vehicle's seen again as it's pulling back into Pullman, Washington at 5:35. Man, I think it's mind-boggling that there's people out there that don't see the circumstantial evidence in this case and just how absolutely clear it is. You know, and they go, well, it's circumstantial. See, Gray, that's what I mean. Look, at circumstantial evidence means a lot. You know? Like, for example, I've said this one before. Let's say you had a square cube that had one entrance in it. There's one entrance that goes into the square cube. There's no cameras in it at all. You see one guy walk into the cube, and then another person follow the person into the cube with a knife in his hand. Then the person with a knife in his hand exits the building, and inside the cube is a man that was stabbed to death. Now, we didn't see the filming of it, but the person who left did kill the other person. You get what I'm saying? How do you know, Gray? Maybe he grabbed the knife and killed himself, you bastard. And then he took the knife and left with it. And that's the sort of logic you get. Maybe we need to have a mug that says, you bastard. There we go. Oh, there you go. Danny ICURN up there just said, you bastard stickers. That would be pretty cool, you bastard. What do you think? That would be kind of cool. What should I put on it? Yeah. Yes, like I've said before many times, the Albertsons connection is interesting because it takes the suspect vehicle 1, the vehicle consistent with vehicle number 1, his cell phone pinging, and his face all connected in that moment in time. And at that point, it sort of brings everything together. Yes, the phone and the vehicle that they were following and the phone that they had been following too is now in Brian Kohberger's possession. He can't claim that somebody else had it. Isn't that weird? Becky Marchin. Because that's what Becky Patty's name is. Becky Marchin Patty. We need to have a drinking game whenever Grace says you bastard. Oh, you guys would be wasted. It's still saying Kohberger with an L. What? Kohlberger? Megan Kelly keeps saying Kohlberger? Oh, Jesus. She's still covering that? God. Man, it must be so great to be famous like that. Because you can just talk about garbage and say the dumbest crap, and people will suck it up like it's the most amazing thing in the world. Great job, Megan. Even though you sound like a conspiracy nutter yourself. I couldn't believe it when I watched her the other day and she sounded just like, you know, trying to find something that just doesn't add up. And it does add up. The river is like a couple blocks from that coffee stand. Yeah, I know where everything is, Sam. What makes you think he has the knife with him at that point? He drove back up at 5:32 to 5:36. His phone turned back on by Johnson, Washington. And that seems like a time where he wanted to turn his phone on to get, directions somewhere. We don't know what he did, but there's a lot of missing time, 4 hours or so after he was in Clarkston. People say threw it in the river. We don't have any idea. Here's what I do know. I mean, if he went back and collected the knife later, there's almost no chance of finding it. I'll tell you that. There's almost no chance of finding it at that point. However, the missing time is in the upper portion of the time that he left. Look at all this crap they got on here. Man, that's nuts. So when he headed down here, the missing time is in this area over here. Like right in there. It's not down here. It's none of this stuff. He should have arrived in this area at 4:32, but he got there at 4:48. And somebody goes, "Doesn't that exonerate him, Gray, you bastard?" No, it doesn't exonerate him. It means that he went somewhere. Yeah. And there's not really a desert. Oh, yeah? Yeah. Well, thank you. Did we get a notebook order? I see well, thank you, Don. And then I don't see anything on there. Did you just send it in just now, Paulette? Or did somebody send it in? Oh, wait, you're just saying to do that if you want a notebook? Oh. And then he just covered it and was on his way home. I was all excited that somebody ordered a notebook, and not one of you have. Poor Chloe. You guys were so excited to get the Chloe notebooks, and hardly any of you have gotten them. And, you know, they cost money for me to have them made. You know, they're sort of a way to make money for the channel. And I bought them on the excitement that everybody seemed to have to get the Chloe notebooks. And I've got like 60 of them sitting around here. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, you got like 9 of them, didn't you? Paulette. You can do it on what are the other ones? Cash App, or, you know, just let me know where you sent it. But PayPal, it doesn't work on. Well, I guess if you sent 40 something in on a super chat, it would work. But they take like 30%. YouTube does. So. Hey, look at that. Jennifer ordered one. A Jennifer ordered L ordered a Chloe notebook. All right, there you go. Love the video, she said. Should we go do a review on my video that I put out earlier and see how the comments are going? I liked earlier. It was pretty cool. Let's see. So, how many views have we got? YouTube, it says 8,500, but under analytics, which is more important, 10,000 and 10,100. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for the first day. Yeah, so 10,100, and you know what's cool? 42 subscribers from the video. And it's amazing. I hardly get any subscribers from my live shows. Maybe that's my bedside manner. But when I make the videos, I get like, I've had some videos where I got 1,000 subscribers from it. Like this one has 40. You know, a lot of times I'll get 80, 90, 100, something like that. A BTC address? Oh yeah, let's see. So where are we at? It's got 200. It's got only 900. Well, it's got 965 likes. I wish you guys would hit the like button quicker. It's just, you see just horrendous videos by conspiracy nutters, and they get like 8,000 likes on 30,000 views. I mean, well, Gray, maybe they just like it better, you bastard. Okay, let's see. Yeah, that makes sense. Your video was the first time I could even see the Elantra. I am convinced, as it's clear to see finally. Why can't I shake the term suspect vehicle 1? So isn't that cool? Like somebody finally sees the Elantra back there when I did the overlay back and forth. Bridget Bauman, she's a freak. Great video, Gray. Yep, law and crime missed the boat, and the crucial evidence captured by the Linda Lane camera. That was off the air for Phil, but at least he redeemed himself by saying, if it's real, it's important evidence. We know it's real and matches the probable cause document because of your work. I wish these shows would do their homework and consult you. I actually think they should. I mean, I'm not trying to, I'm just saying, I feel like some of the stuff I know really, 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 really well here, and it'd be great to be on one of these shows again. I mean, I might be on one coming up here. We'll see. Yep. They did have some. There were a few people that said, "Hey, check out Gray's video or something." You know, Gray, go to their comments. I mentioned you at least twice and told people to come to your channel to see how you have it all laid out, including the passes of this car and how it all fits in. Well, thank you. All this info, camera, phone pings, DNA evidence, etc. Wonder what Ann Taylor thinks and is asking BK to explain. I just saw that comment up in here. And while we're sitting here doing this, guys, don't forget, if we could just get a little extra going on the support for the channel tonight, we could make up for a little bit of last night. Let's see. I have to say, when this first happened, everyone was going on about Kohberger being a criminal studies PhD or whatever, like he was somehow the Superman of crime. The more we learn, he looks like Forrest Gump of crime, but without all the kindness. That was pretty good. That's pretty good. Circling that area that many times, he had to know there was at least some cameras in the area. The odds of there being at least one these days are high. My guess is he is so pumped up that this is the night, that the desire to accomplish it gave him tunnel vision. I totally agree with that. I totally agree with that. To the point he threw more reasonable caution to the wind. Yep. Great job on the video. Listen, folks, the question is, how many white cars move around the Moscow town that may look like white Elantra? This could be definitive proof that the car in question was driven by Kohberger, because that's not logical and convincing evidence that the car was exactly white Elantra. If I was a juror, I would never agree upon recognizing unknown white vehicles to be Elantra driven by Kohberger. Yeah, that's because you're dumb. I mean, the thing is you have to put it all together, all the information, not just like, hey, I wouldn't be able to tell you that. But would you be able to say it's his white Elantra when you take in the fact that he turned his phone off, he said he was driving around in the area, and there was a white Elantra missing its front license plate just like his, and they found DNA on the knife sheath on Madison Mogan's bed, which then highly suggests to a point of like astronomical numbers that was his white Elantra at that point. And then he was also trying to get rid of his DNA out of the trash so that people wouldn't find it. Okay, just put all those together, and how do you explain that away to anybody? Like, you can try to attack each piece of circumstantial evidence on its own, but when you have so much of it piled up, it's almost impossible. This time, Gray, very good analysis. So BK in house to murder and then quickly out in car and race off. Not sure if in early videos or others saying BK changed bloody clothes and shoes. Yeah, that's what I said. Or maybe he had a tear-off suit. Is that the Elantra that was abandoned in Washington and was sold? No, it wasn't. That video is for real. I've seen it way too many times. Great video analysis based on what I have read. My theoretical anyways, you guys can go read the comments. We've pittered away here, so I don't want to spend another hour just reading. So I appreciate you guys all being here tonight and supporting the channel. You guys can go read the comments on their video if you want. Thanks, Matt is a cut snake, Terry, Don, Danielle, Danny ICURN, Earth Angel, N Bell gifted a membership, Wise Child, Kit, Frazzled Cat, Kathy Chapin, Danielle, Don G, Earth Angel, and Bell. So there's N Bell. She was helping support the channel, and somehow something happened unbeknownst to me, and she left. The Broken Scout, Lisa Wilkerson, Supa Soda 90, Amber Maiden, Quietly Frozen was in there. And then Drepower, or Dre Power, became a new member. Yeah, I think it's Dre Power. And then Wise Child, and then A did the cat eye, and without that one, we wouldn't even have made the goal. Sensei, Wackadoodle, Connie E, 7, KR, Kathy Fredmaker, Joseph Brennan, K-Me, The Broken Scout, Ivan Victor, Corinne Gates, Shanna Doran. Then I gifted 5 memberships. Tiggy Girl, Gregory Donahue, Just Judy, and George Leonard. All right. Well, thank you guys. I appreciate you guys being here tonight. And thanks, A and Ivan Victor, for calling in. It was fun. I think we had another call too. Oh yeah, there was another caller. Appreciate you calling in. What am I seeing above? I bought a sticker from a website. The notebook was. Yeah, I don't sell the notebooks on. You just send 30 to PayPal and I buy them. I don't even know if the sticker was that crazy one with all the. And thank you also to. Let's see, Jennifer L, and also Don H on PayPal too. Yep. Just died down drastically, so I'm gonna go work on something else. It's what I do. It's what I do now. I don't want to just sit there and ramble on for hours, you know. I can go try to work on a video. That's what I'm having to do, is make videos to augment the income. And I actually like making videos a lot. You know, I sort of figured out a way to just kind of do them the way I want to, just speaking, you know, no scripts really. I don't know. Yeah, we discussed it all already, Christine. You missed the show. Yeah, I think there might be like a different route. Would be like I just do more videos. I've been talking about this. Like if I can get 40,000 views, or you know, even 30 to 40,000, that would make a huge difference. That's just I don't like the effort that I have to put in trying to get the funds and super chats on the live shows when I do videos and there's ad revenue, and if you can get 40,000 views, you would almost make the same amount on, but I only usually get like 10 to 15,000. So maybe we can get that up higher. And people go, well, great, it's not all about. Well, the thing is, on this channel, we do so much good with a huge part of the income. So that's why I want to keep doing it. And I've told you guys the same story 17 million times, and it's getting really, you know, I don't even like saying it anymore. Like last night, man, it was brutal. I get my power back, and that's one of the worst days we ever had. When you get the power back, you're so excited to come in, do a show, the first show, and it's going to be really good, and it's the worst one you've had in like months, you know. Yeah, well, no, the videos, you got to get like 30 or 40,000 views right away, right? What do you mean, Sam? I don't get it. What case? Yeah, I like the, I mean, I'm sure I'll do an update tomorrow on the Michelle Troconis But man, that was just so brutal yesterday. Every time I cover Michelle Draconis, you guys don't really support the channel very well. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. It used to be whatever I covered, it was the same. Hey, look at that. It's J Case. At the last minute, man. Did you ever get your everything figured out? Well, looks like you got something working because you were able to get a membership. Yeah. Weird. Conflict of... Oh, yeah. I think they must be talking about... Sam must be referring to the Xana, you know, the attorney conflict there that we talked about. Yeah. That's crazy, Jay. What do you think it is? I mean, there's no, you know, you're standing, like I can show you, it says hide user. Well, that means you're not hidden. I don't know. Maybe, I have no idea. I can see your comments and everything, and you see everything seems normal. No idea. Mm-hmm. I put all those in there, Olivia. I mean, my other job is search engine optimization stuff. I know how it works. I've got all the terms in there. It's more like a YouTube thing. If they don't consider you the expert, they sort of recommend other people. So apparently a clown who does peddles in conspiracy theories is more of an expert. On many other shows, he always covers his bases by saying something is not substantiated when he hasn't even tried to authenticate. Yeah. I've never seen him before. Well, what time? Maybe we could try to do the old newspapers.com game. What do we got? 8:33. How much time have we been on here? It's only 15 minutes left. Forget it. Guess we could do that another time. Zozo never plays it right either. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I have one video out there in the Kanika Jenkins case that's been going on for years and still generates revenue. That one's made just a ridiculous amount of money, but that shows you how much money the people that have a bunch of those make. You know, the ones that have like multiple 500,000 to 1 million view videos. Those guys are making, and they get those views right away, you know. Like if you get a video that has 100,000 views, you're going to make over $1,000 on those. Maybe 1,200 or so, and maybe even more because people watch. You know, they want to watch the whole thing. I have one video that has something like 2.5 million views in the Kanika Jenkins case. It might even be more now. I don't know, but that one's crazy. It just kind of keeps going, but it doesn't. You know, now it doesn't make much a month. It's just sort of just keeps going though. It just says something like, "It all makes sense." That was the title. It wasn't even one of my better videos in the case. And somehow it did better than the rest of them. Anyways, I think that's it, you guys. I thanked everybody, and thanks for joining again, Jay Case. And I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. We got to the goal. We are had a decent video put out today. Hopefully that keeps going. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know how to make a video turn into that. I have no idea why that video got seen so many times. It's sort of like a video that it became the gold standard or something. But I don't know why. Let's see, Kanika, it all makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, that's mine. Yeah, look at this thing. Here, watch this. Here it is. It's a 27-minute long video. It basically shows the entire Kanika Jenkins surveillance footage, how she walks around, and look how many views it has. 2.3 million views, and it was 6 years ago, but you know, I mean, that's ridiculous. So I literally show exactly her route that she took when she walked around in there. And so she came in here and then walked right through there and went back to the... It's crazy though, that little Starbucks cup right there was there for weeks. Nobody ever touched it. Even officers would place stuff there and write on it, and it's just never moved. It's unreal. But anyways, right back there, there's a door, and she went back there. And there she goes, look. So there's Kanika Jenkins, very highly intoxicated. She went into a kitchen that should have been locked, but she shouldn't have been there, and she should have been able to read signs that say don't go in here. Anyway, she goes back there and makes her way into a freezer back there, and she died. I mean, it was... And so the video, I just kind of go through the whole thing and explain everything, and made sense. And it sucked, you know, that she died like that. It's probably really lonely and scared. I mean, I guess you could say thankfully she was highly intoxicated, so she probably wasn't really that aware, you know, too much of what was going on. Yeah, the freezer one. But, alright, you guys, thanks again for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. Alright, did Blue or Chloe? Nope. That is a video, right? Yeah, I see it moving around. I guess they're just hidden. But, alright, thanks again. Thanks for all your guys' support. And if you, when I make videos, make sure to hit that like button and share the video too. And I don't mean share it on your Facebook page. Like, put it in a group that you're in that has a lot of people that might want to watch it. That would be helpful too. Okay, so thanks again. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there. And thanks for all the conversation. That was interesting. And boom. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while.
Good night, everybody. Gee.
And during this whole time, I have not maybe we should do a flyby. We haven't done one of those in a while. That is a... Where is that? Where is
crime dissector, thug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector, here's my nectar. Professor Gray is gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking checked ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender.
Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.
Hey, Gray, this is cool, man. This is bitchin'. that's better now. This is suck.
Yeah, it made this better. It used to really suck in here. It was like a... But it's better now. So cool. It's good to go look at it again. Last time I was there was some weird looking thing they put there. It was... Alright, well hey, thanks everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Well hey, alright Mary Lou, cool. Man, that was the most like unenergetic flyby I've ever seen. Like nobody was commenting, nobody was saying anything. Man, you guys, what happened to all the freaks? Where'd they go, man? Where'd they go? Alright, thanks everybody, we'll see you guys later. And be safe out there.